Kyle Shanahan was in a Super Bowl. He was the offensive coordinator for the Falcons, who famously blew a 28-3 lead against the Patriots. The Falcons failed to drain enough time off the clock, and it allowed Tom Brady and company to come back and win in overtime. Shanahan said he's learned from that experience, that this time things will be different if he has a fourth-quarter lead in the big game. Former All-Pro cornerback Antonio Cromartie joining us again this morning.
How you doing? You know I try.
I do like this. Yeah, this is nice.
I try. I'm trying to dress better than Shannon.
How you gonna try to dress me on my
Try?
show? Huh? You try to dress me on my show.
Woo.
I gotta
I ain't
do
wearing
it.
ties all next week. Yeah, it's gonna be.
not wearing ties?
Yeah.
Is that right?
No ties all week. It's Miami. Who wears ties in
Trying
Miami?
to compete with somebody, huh?
Oh.
No, I wear ties. I'm just kidding.
Now I can't wait to
Straight
see.
linen.
Okay,
Straight
back
linen.
to this discussion, although everyone looks great today, if I do say so. Antonio, I want to ask you, how much was Shanahan to blame for that 28-3 collapse?
I'll say 60-40. And the only reason I say that is because when you look at the whole picture, yeah, he kept passing the ball. He could have ran the ball more. I think they was averaging 4.6 yards a carry during the game. But at the end of the day, the defense still didn't get off the field when they had an opportunity. So why I want to sit here and just blame one man on what he could have done differently, then you look at the defense side of the ball, they didn't stop anybody during that whole entire thing. They just kept giving up points. They got penalties. They had dumb plays and stupid plays on the defense side of the ball and on the offense side of the ball. So I can't sit here and put all the blame on him because at the end of the day, it's a team sport. And this is something that you got to depend on other people in this sport. And if the defense is not holding up and then the offense is going down and not controlling the clock and not doing the thing they're supposed to do, it makes things harder for you.
But you're still going 60% of the blame.
I'm still going
to
60-40,
Shannon.
yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, he has to take the lion's share of the blame. I don't know we was going to get percentage, but I would give him more than that. I'd say 85%. I would give the defense only 5% because when you start getting that 90-play drive, that 90 plays, defense can't hold up for that many plays because that tells me the offense is going at tempo. And D-lineman, a couple of D-linemen had gotten hurt, Skip. So the rotation that they had in the first half, they no longer had. And Skip, there's some bad execution. Matt Ryan is an MVP. You can't take a sack in that situation. No. So not only did he take a sack, they got a holding call that pushed him either further back. But see where I fault Kyle, Skip, if you just run the ball 3 times, time's going to bleed off the clock, the guy kicks a field goal, you're up 11, ball game. See, in the fourth quarter, you cannot run the ball up by 25 the same amount of time as the team that's down by 25. What sense does that make? Skip, there's an old saying that says a wise man learns from others' mistakes. A fool learns from his own. You would have thought after you saw what happened with Buffalo and the Bills in Houston, because what couldn't they do, Skip? They didn't run the football. They just run and shoot, throw, and Buffalo had the greatest postseason comeback in history. Well, I guarantee you. Because guess what happened, Skip? Let me tell you how good Kyle Shanahan learned his lesson. Jimmy Drew threw an interception against Minnesota. Since then, the 49ers have called 72 runs, 14 passes. He called 2 passes in the second half.
That's just because he doesn't trust his quarterback.
So hey, he got a lead. Make him stop it. Skip, if the Falcons run the ball 3 times and punt it, there's not enough time for the Patriots to come back. So Kyle learned a valuable lesson. I understand your offense, Skip, is to throw the ball because they've had great success. But also your job is to understand the situation and where you are. Boom. So he learned a very, boy, that's a terrible lesson to learn, Skip. You don't want to learn a lesson like that right there. But he learned. He, like you said, he get in that situation again. Now, I don't know if he'll get up 28-3, but I can assure you, if he gets a sizable lead, he will run time off the clock as he should.
I cannot tell you how I disagree, especially with you and somewhat with you. I disagree 60% with you and about 95%.
You know what he want to do? He want to get a credit to somebody else, but go ahead.
Go ahead.
I admired the way Kyle Shanahan called this game because there's another old expression, and it's from the state of Texas, and it's you dance with who brung you. And I think it was a Wade Phillips expression.
Yeah.
Meaning, if you got there doing something, you do it all the way home.
Yeah.
Whoever took you to the dance, you dance with her all the way home. You don't
Yes.
go start dancing with other partners.
No, but Skip, but here's the thing. Okay, I'm going to dance with who got me there, but the song's going to dictate what type of dance we do. You know what I'm saying? If the bus start come on, if the butterfly, the electric slide, I'm going to do that.
What had happened the night before at the NFL Honors? What had happened? Help me. You were there?
Yeah, Matt got the MVP.
Getting your cameo shot in the third row or whatever.
Me and Dak was hanging out.
See, I'm Shannon Sharp. I'm here. Look at me.
Dak and I was hanging out.
Trying to upstage the whole ceremony. Who won the MVP? Who got the MVP award that night? Oh,
Yes.
It was Matt Ryan.
Right.
He was the MVP of the league. He's on fire. Their offense was on fire.
Right.
So what happened the last full time that they had the ball at the end of regulation? They start at their 10-yard line, 1st and 10 at their 10. And he throws 39. It was a screen pass to Devontae Freeman. He goes for 39 yards. And then a couple plays later, he hits Julio, unstoppable Julio.
Unbelievable catch.
27 yards. 27 yards. Boom. And all of a sudden, they're set up shop here, and they're 1st and 10 all the way down at the New England 22-yard line with 4:41 left in the game, and they are up 8 points, right? What do? Kyle said, I'm going to run some clock, and I'm going to run it to little Devontae.
Okay.
He had Tevin Coleman, Devontae, so he didn't exactly...
But Tevin Coleman had gotten hurt.
He had gotten hurt, but what I'm saying, he didn't have, big Derek, big number 22. He didn't have one of those, Derrick Henry, right? Okay, but he ran him, and he went left side -1. So what are you going to do on 2nd down? I'm probably going to throw it because I'm going to dance with who brung me. I'm going to go for the throat.
You see?
I'm going to play to win instead of playing not to lose because I'm looking over on the other sideline at a number 12 who is on fire.
Right.
I'm going to beat him at his own game. I'm going to throw it right down his throat because if I do, it's going to be game over right here, right now. And Matt Ryan, to your point, the MVP, drops back, if we can see this, and he takes a sack you cannot take at this point in the game. You got a sure field goal already set up, and Trey Flowers throws him down, and now you're in some trouble. But you're looking at now a 53-yard field goal, and he comes right back, and he hits Sanu, but they hold. Jake Matthews held, and he hits Sanu for 9 yards, and then he has to throw it to Taylor Gabriel, and that goes incomplete. But the point is, the pass to Sanu, and I got no use for Sanu, what he did in New England this year, but he hit Sanu for 9 yards to make it a 44-yard field goal, but they held. So is that Kyle's fault? Because you still got it get back to a 44-yard field goal, and if you make that, what's going to happen? That's game over.
But that's our point. If you run the ball, even after you lost on 2nd and 11, you run the ball again, time runs off. If you don't get a yard, so be it. Run the ball again. Now you kick it. Skip, the objective, I understand that.
The whole objective is to get points.
Yes.
That's the whole objective. So if I kick this field goal from the 30, that's what, a 47-yard field goal?
Right.
So now you're looking at a 47-yard field goal, you go up by 11 with probably 2 minutes left in the game.
Okay. So he goes for the throat. It takes a sack and a hold for him to be thrown. That's not Kyle's fault.
But Skip, you got to factor, Skip, those are things that you factor in as a head coach is that not only do you get the call, Skip, you stop the clock. The holding stop the clock.
Yet and still, you punt the ball successfully. You punt it all the way back to the Patriots' 9-yard line. They're 1st and 10 at the 9 with 3:38 left in the game.
Yes, that's an eternity.
Guess who? Guess what? Whose fault was that they went 91 yards, the Patriots did, for a touchdown? Whose fault was that?
Yes, defense.
Okay, it's Dan Quinn. I think he's the quasi-coordinator, right? So I blame him. I blame that whole unit because you should be able to, if you got an 8-point lead and 91 yards of field to hold somebody, Crow's defense, they're going to say no.
Crow, but you can be playing you can play good the first half. But if that team put together a couple of drives and they get touchdowns, if something happens in their mind and something happens in the defense mind. Because all of a sudden, we can't get off the field, and the offense says, we know y'all can't get us off the field.
Definitely.
And that's what happened. That's how they got those 19 points. Skip, you just run the football in that situation. I understand. You run the football. See, and you look at his offense now. They don't have a Derrick Henry. Mostert is 180. Breda is 175, 180. Tevin Coleman, maybe 200. So they don't have a run game. But Kyle understands. He should have known from his dad because we made that mistake against Jacksonville. We come out there. Now, we've been running TD all year long. Now we're going to get out there and now we're going to throw the ball all over the yard.
I don't blame Kyle as much as I credit Tom Brady because you won't give him any credit.
Yeah, I get you.
All he did was throw for 246 yards in the fourth quarter and overtime.
Come on,
See,
Skip.
you won't even let it go in your brain.
He had the luckiest catch of all time with Julian Edelman. Come on now.
So we're going
246.
Come on.
So
there are a bunch of not lucky.
Let me ask you a question. We don't get Coach Belichick any credit? Because his defense pitched a shutout.
Wait, who threw for the 2-point conversion to Amendola to tie the game and send it to overtime? Was that not clutch?
Hold on. Who threw that pick six to Alfred?
Well, that was way early in the game.
But you know who.
246 in the fourth quarter and overtime, and you guys are shrugging like, no big deal. Stop it. Both of you.
You have to be in that situation. Give him credit, but you got a lot of factors. The other team got to help you out, Skip. You know that.
They helped them out a lot, Skip, on that last drive.
Kyle Shanahan is saying we have to out Brady.
No, you don't.
He tried.
No, you don't.
His MVP took a sack.
What did Vrabel say? Vrabel say they pride themselves on beating you because you make dumb plays and dumb mistakes. Don't do that. It's tough enough to beat them, but don't you help beat them.
Vrabel was trying to win in spite of Ryan Tannehill. You know it.
No. He did it. He did it. Your guy. That's the same guy that threw for 246 in fourth quarter overtime, right?
Yep.
And what did he throw for then?
Well, unfortunately, he couldn't throw it to himself this year. He would have been okay.
So he did that without Gronk. Come on. How you going to win a Super Bowl without Gronk?
No Gronk. How about Sanu this year? Did you like him? Yeah, you told me he was a bust, right?
Skip, I told you from day one, I thought they should have traded for Emmanuel Sanders.
Yeah.
And then, no, so he was a Rutgers guy. What they got to do with where he's from? Sanu can't run anymore.
Emmanuel's in the Super Bowl.
Yes.
I don't know how he did that, but he is. Way to go.
All right, Antonio, we're going to have you stick around for this next one. We do want to know if the Niners have the perfect defense to stop Patrick Mahomes.
Yep.
Is it really perfect? That's next.